Hello and welcome to The Rusted Brush. Today we're going to be delving into the origins and inspirations of the grimdark genre. This is a continuation of my first video, where to start with the grimdark genre. Before we begin, what is grimdark? A quick definition is that it's a subgenre of fiction that is over the top with its themes and settings of brutality, nihilism, and darkness. In my previous video I went over my definition of the grimdark genre, and you can watch that video for a longer explanation. So where does grimdark originate from? Well, the term grimdark comes from the phrase, "In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war." The far future being the 40k universe, of course. Warhammer 40k is the go-to answer for what people consider to be grimdark, and is used as a comparison for any other setting that people determine to be grimdark. However, if we consider the broader sense of the term grimdark as a subgenre characterized by bleak and morally ambiguous world, there were earlier works that would be considered as early depictions of grimdark, even if the term itself wasn't used yet. A good example of this would be Michael Moorcock's Elric Saga, featuring a morally complex protagonist and a dark, amoral world that predates the term grimdark. While not fitting entirely into the grimdark category, Frank Herbert's Dune contains elements of political intrigue, moral ambiguity, and a harsh world that influenced later dark-themed works, and of course, was a huge influence on Warhammer 40k. I have no mouth and I must scream. I don't think a lot of people consider this grimdark, but I think it fits in the realm of this subgenre quite well. The story depicts a post-apocalyptic world where a super-intelligent computer called Am has exterminated most of humanity, leaving only a few survivors whom it torments endlessly. It explores themes of suffering, despair, and the darker aspects of human existence, which are often associated with grimdark literature. Two authors that are huge influences on the grimdark genre that will come up as examples of grimdark and considered to have brought the term to the mainstream spotlight are George R.R. Martin and Joe Abercrombie. Unfortunately, I haven't read any of Joe Abercrombie's works, and I think it would be unfair for me to say anything more about his works if I didn't read it myself. All I know is he goes by Lord Grimdark, and most people consider his work grimdark. No matter what, he definitely has an influence on the genre. As for George R. R. Martin, I have read the Song of Ice and Fire series, and my hot take is that it's not grimdark. The series is known for its morally gray characters, harsh, unforgiving world. It explores themes of power, politics, betrayal, and the consequences of actions. These are aspects that are often seen in grimdark literature. However, A Song of Ice and Fire also incorporates more traditional fantasy elements, like elements of heroism that contrast with the relentlessly bleak tone often associated with grimdark. It doesn't have the ridiculous dystopia setting of the grimdark. It's more of a fantasy setting based on our world's history. Our world's history, of course, is an influence on the grimdark genre to help portray what we think is brutal and grim, but I don't think that's enough to call it grimdark. Let's move on to another source of the grimdark setting: art. Grimdark is a literary and cultural genre often revolves around storytelling rather than visual art. However, paintings and artwork capture the essence or evoke feelings associated with grimdark themes, such as portraying dark, haunting, or gritty imagery. Artists might explore these themes through various styles and mediums. I find visuals to be easier for myself unless I find myself looking for inspiration from visual arts over any source of media. Here are a few artists or specific artworks that convey a grimdark atmosphere that I find very helpful. Francisco Goya's The Disasters of War. This series of etchings by Goya depicts the brutalities and horrors of war, showcasing violence, suffering, and the bleakness of human conflict. These works are haunting and evocative, capturing the grim realities of warfare. Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights. While not specifically grimdark, Bosch's surreal and dark imagery in this Trippich painting explores themes of sin, temptation, and moral decay. It presents a vivid and at times disturbing portrayal of the human condition. Zdzisław Beksiński. Beksiński's surreal and often nightmarish paintings often feature haunting landscapes, dystopian worlds, and eerie otherworldly beings. His dark apocalyptic visions evoke a sense of foreboding and despair. Gustave Doré's illustrations. Doré's intricate and detailed illustrations, particularly those depicting scenes from Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, capture dark and infernal landscapes of hell. His visual interpretation often showcased grim and foreboding imagery. Francis Bacon, the artist, not philosopher. His paintings are characterized by distorted and contorted human figures, raw emotion, a sense of torment, and existential angst. His art explores themes of suffering, morality, and the complexity of human existence in a manner that aligns with the dark and brooding atmosphere often associated with grim dark fiction. These artworks may not exclusively fit into the grimdark genre, as the term primarily finds its roots in literature and storytelling. However, they contain elements of darkness, unease, or a sense of foreboding that align with the themes commonly associated with the grimdark narratives. The grimdark genre draws inspiration from various sources, ranging from literature to history, philosophy, and even contemporary events. Here's some of the key inspirations that have contributed to the development and creation of the grimdark genre. Historical realism. Grimdark often reflects the darker aspects of history, including the brutality of warfare, political intrigue, social upheavals, and the grim realities of human conflict. Authors draw inspiration from events such as medieval warfare, political scheming, and society struggles to create worlds that mirror these harsh realities. Works of philosophical pessimism. Philosophical works that explore the darker sides of human nature, like the writings of Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, and Thomas Hobbes, have influenced grimdark literature. Themes of nihilism, existentialism, and the absence of inherent morality often find their way into these narratives. Fantasy and mythology subversion. Grimdark subverts traditional fantasy trope. It questions the idealism found in epic fantasy by presenting a more cynical and harsher portrayal of magic, heroes, and fantastical worlds. This subversion challenges the typical notions of good versus evil. Societal issues. Authors often draw inspiration from contemporary societal issues, including political corruption, social inequality, environmental degradation, and the consequences of unchecked power. These themes are woven into the narratives, providing a reflection of modern concerns. Cultural and literary influences. Works from various cultures and literary movements contribute to the diverse inspiration behind grimdark, from Gothic literature's gloomy atmospheres to noir fiction's gritty realism. Authors merge different styles and influences to create the dark, bleak worlds of grimdark. Combining elements from these varied inspirations, writers craft narratives that challenge traditional storytelling norms and provide a stark, unsettling, yet thought-provoking experience for readers exploring the grimdark aspects of human existence. So I'm going to end this off by saying that the grimdark genre is very subjective, and you're going to see differing opinions on what is and isn't grimdark. And honestly, that's for you to decide. Feel free to comment down below if you think I said something that was wrong, or you agreed with it. Anyways, the next video is going to be on an undead warband for Mordheim I'm making. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the origins and inspirations of grimdark. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, everybody.